Okay, this is a short introductory video to this first web page of the Population and Migration Unit. It's an introductory video to explain to you what I really need you to include in the web page. The first point I'm going to make is that population is the number of people that are living in a defined area. And when we talk about defined areas, it's important to consider more than just countries as defined areas. We could look at it from the point of view of Fort Bonifacio, Taguig, Manila, Luzon, the Philippines, Southeast Asia, Asia, or even the planet as a whole. So don't just get bogged down with the idea that countries have populations and that's it. We can break populations down into much smaller subdivisions. Secondly, I'd like you to get the idea that if we compare populations, we can notice similarities and differences between them. We can notice it in terms of perhaps just basically the number of people. We can notice it in terms of health indicators. An example might be the number of people per doctor. We can talk about it in terms of education, percentage of children or people that leave school at the age of 16 would be an example. We can talk about it in income, like GDP per capita. We can talk about it in age and look at the balance between young and old people. So when comparing populations, there's lots of ways we can look at how populations are similar and they are different. Another important point is we can analyse how populations change over time. One of the major things you're going to learn about is the way in which populations have changed significantly since the time of the Industrial Revolution. I mean, there's been an enormous change in populations over the past 200 years, but we'll get into that later. The other thing I want you to consider with this page, and the page developers should be aware of, is that understanding that these differences between populations and changes over time within populations can help us to hopefully replicate the positives and minimize the negatives. We can see really healthy, well-educated, wealthy populations, and we can try to identify why they are so, and perhaps how other ones could become more like them. Furthermore, I'd like you to be aware that organizations such as the United Nations that are interested in human development, they are really interested in population geography, because population geography provides them with the data they need to to do the work they want to do. If they want to try and improve human development, they need to understand that human development is very complex. It involves, like I said before, health, education, income, and the factors that lead to development are identified by population geographers. Kind of getting towards the end now, you've really got to understand that a population is determined on a very simplistic level by the number of births minus the number of deaths plus the number of immigrants, that's people moving in, and minus the number of emigrants, that's people moving out. That determines the total population of an area. What I really want you to do with this web page, it should be an overview of the points that I've just mentioned, as well as the definitions of the terminology that is on the PowerPoint on this web page also, and some of the terms that we've discussed in class if I haven't remembered to include them. Furthermore, you should also remember to define population distribution and population density. And also you should show how to calculate population density, which of course is just the population divided by the area they live in. Now I want you to also explain the reasons why some places are densely populated and others are sparsely populated. And that's about it. Good luck developing this page.